Previously on the Moorpark Reporter Sportcast.
Don't think I didn't notice. We skipped the Barcelona talk. You cowards.
Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Next week.
Okay.
Next week. We'll see.
Promise.
Barcelona. Sorry, we couldn't get to you this week.
Barcelona.
Next time.
It's always next time.
Always next time. All right, and hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Moorpark Reporter Sportcast. I am editor and now, host, Dominic D'Amico, and I am here with the sports desk of the Moorpark Reporter, led by the fearless Danny Stepanovic and staffed by the amazing Mitchell Ross, sporting a World Series champion shirt.
Yeah, World Series champs, baby.
Ooh, give us a twirl. Yeah, there we go. And of course, with Mitchell Ross, we could not be without Kennedy Collier. How you doing?
Doing all right, you know. I'm yeah.
All right, so our first topic for the day, Buccaneers versus Saints. That game ended 38-3, and that was supposed to be a game of the week, but the first half went bad for the Buccaneers. The Saints went up 31-0 at the end of the first half. Drew Brees completing passes to 11 different receivers in the first half alone, tying a personal record. Tom Brady got shut out completely in that first half. First time since 2014, so 6 years. The Buccaneers didn't look like Super Bowl contenders. So I got a couple questions. First, who's got more on the line this season? Tom Brady or Drew Brees, and who has the better chance of making this Super Bowl, the Buccaneers or the Saints? I'm going to toss it to you first, Kennedy. What do you think?
Well, who has more on the line is obviously Tom Brady because he's the one who has to prove something by going to Tampa Bay, by leaving Boston. Drew Brees, I feel like, has already kind of proven himself. He's going to go down as a Hall of Fame quarterback, one of the best to play the position, but does he necessarily need to win another Super Bowl? I don't think so. It obviously helps, but this is all about Tom Brady. He went to Tampa Bay to chase another championship, and I think today was just a fluke, or yesterday was a fluke. I don't think we're going to see a Tampa Bay game like that again because you just have so many weapons for Tom Brady, and he just was not looking good. I don't know. It's definitely on Tom Brady to get it together.
All right. Interesting perspective. Mitchell, what do you got to say?
I got to disagree. I think Drew Brees has more on the line this season. The Saints have potentially the heir apparent to Drew Brees and Taysom Hill, a player who can play a multitude of positions, including quarterback at a very high level. Who has a better chance of making the Super Bowl? At the end of the day, I still think both teams will make the playoffs, but now the Saints hold the season tiebreaker against the Buccaneers. I think the Saints have a better shot at making it because this group has been together for a much longer time than Brady has been together with this group in Tampa Bay. So Saints have a better chance to go into the Super Bowl, and Drew Brees has more on the line because of that.
All right. Interesting to hear. I like that. But Danny, fearless leader of us all, leader of the sports desk in all its domains. How do you feel about your reporter's takes?
What an introduction as you took my job as host. I guess I got promoted. Did I get promoted?
You're promoted. You get to have opinions now.
Yeah. All right. My first take, I got to go with Mitchell on this one, that Brees has more on the line. I mean, how many years has this New Orleans Saints team ran it back? I mean, I feel like they've been running it back for the past 3 years, and each year Drew Brees has gotten worse. I mean, keep in mind, before this game, we've been seeing a shaky Brees that all he can do is throw checkdowns. This was like the first game he was finding receivers, and I feel like that's just because they were wide open. I don't know what Todd Bowles' defensive scheme was this game, but it was easy for Drew Brees. So, and Tom Brady, he's got another year on his contract. And like Mitchell said, or Kennedy, I think you said it, you're not too worried about this game. I'm not either. He's got to get clicking with Antonio Brown for sure and his receiving core. Maybe Antonio Brown, maybe they didn't need him because I feel like there's too many weapons on the on the field for him, I don't know. But who has the better chance of making the Super Bowl? I said it a few weeks ago, and I'll say it again. Tampa Bay to the Super Bowl. Book it.
I still will say that Breeze ultimately has less pressure on him because he did get New Orleans that one Super Bowl. Basically, once you get one Super Bowl for New Orleans, a team that until then never had one, you're pretty much off scotch-free. But Brady went to Tampa Bay to win a Super Bowl. This was the story of the offseason. Can Brady win a Super Bowl outside of New England? So I think that's just a little bit more pressure on Tommy Boy than it is on Drew.
All right. Well argued arguments, lads. All right. Danny, I like you. You're on a roll right now, so I'm going to send the next question to you first. We got the first half of the NFL season behind us. All right. That's a whole half a season. I want to know who are your MVPs. So we'll start with you, Danny, and then I'm going to kick it to Mitchell and then Kennedy.
Well, when we brought up this question Saturday, I believe it was, I was so excited to say Tom Brady. I was ready to just cruise down all the way to week 16, praising Tom Brady. But then he threw 3 picks against New Orleans. And I said, I can't go with Tom Brady. I got to go with the MVP of 2018 and the Super Bowl MVP of last year, old Patty Mahomes. I just don't think he's getting enough respect this season. Everyone's talking about Russell Wilson. I feel like he's like no one's impressed that he's throwing 25 touchdowns to 1 interception. He's leading the Chiefs to an 8-1 record, which is second best in the NFL, I believe, behind the Steelers. But I feel like the Chiefs, they're just so great that no one's surprised. But I still think he's the MVP of the season. Russell Wilson, I mean, he's doing some spectacular things. But, I mean, if we look at who he's beat, Atlanta, New England, Dallas, Miami, Minnesota, and injured San Fran, I mean, I'm not too impressed. He just lost against the Bills this past weekend. So, yeah, Patrick Mahomes, that's my 2020-2021 MVP.
All right. Excellent. Mitchell, let's throw it to you next.
I got to say, I'm looking at the other side of the ball. I think a defensive player this year could possibly bring home the MVP, and I'm talking about one of the best defensive players the league has ever seen, a multiple defensive player of the year winner, and that is, of course, number 99, Aaron Donald of our LA Rams. Yeah, Danny, you said that Pat Mahomes is throwing a lot of touchdowns. I don't see Pat Mahomes throwing around 350-pound linemen like Aaron Donald does. He's got 9 sacks this season, which is second in the NFL. Remember, a couple years ago in 2018, he had a crazy sack number and almost won the MVP that year that the Rams went to the Super Bowl, largely on the strengths of that defense. He's the best defensive player in the NFL in a very offensive-centric league. I think a great defensive player has the opportunity to shine. He's a difference maker. He's a playmaker, and he comes in the clutch. Aaron Donald could win the MVP this year, and it would be the first time in a very long time that a defensive player would take home MVP honors.
All right. I want to ask a little follow-up there, Mitchell. The Rams are third in their conference, the NFC West. They're behind the Seahawks, and they've got a 5-3, which is the same as the Cardinals. But what makes you choose this guy over, say, someone from the Seahawks? Like Russell Wilson, maybe.
What makes me choose a defensive player is I think defense is largely overlooked in the NFL. Everyone gets excited about bombs thrown down the field for touchdowns or crazy runs. The defense doesn't get the love that it deserves. Yeah, the Rams are 5-3, but largely that's because Jared Goff has really goffed the ball. It can't all be on one defensive player, although one defensive player can change the entire pressure that an offensive line sees. Aaron Donald, I compare him to the Mountain from Game of Thrones. He's that strong and that big that he's probably the only person in the world that I think could fully rip a human in half if he really wanted to. And I think that is more valuable than Russell Wilson throwing touchdown passes or scrambling out of the pocket for a run. I know Danny's shaking his head like, what? But I mean, look, defense wins championships, okay? the best offense is a great defense, and don't let anybody tell you anything different. Defense is more important than offense, especially when the league is so offensive-centric.
Thank you for that. Kennedy, I want to hear your first half NFL MVP. Hit me with it.
Well, first I have to talk about the ludicrousy that is Mitchell's first half MVP. When in the entirety of the NFL, there have been 2 total defensive MVPs. The last one was Lawrence Taylor in 86. So I don't think we're seeing a defensive MVP anytime soon. It's not sexy. It doesn't make money. It doesn't make ads. It doesn't bring attention to the NFL other than a novelty. I have 2 potential MVPs. One is going to be Russell Wilson, because obviously he's the reason why the Seahawks are doing so well. Every game he is saving the Seahawks' butt at the end of each game. The defense for the Seahawks is so atrocious that Russell Wilson has to literally play like Jesus Christ on the field, and he's still just getting killed. But here's my second MVP. Josh Allen. And here's why. Because this man, except for out of the 7 of the 9 games, he has thrown multiple touchdowns. This kid is amazing. He has a great defense. He has great weapons. Josh Allen, late MVP. He's not being talked about right now, but I guarantee you they're going to be talking about him closer to the end of the season.
All right. Excellent. That's interesting. I was glad to hear all of your thoughts and views on that question. Moving on to the next one. I'm kind of curious. That's one more week of NFL behind us. We got another week coming up. What's your guys' game of the week that you're definitely going to be watching for, and what are your predictions for Week 10? This time, Mitchell, lead us off.
I'll take my MVP pick up against Kennedy's. I'll take Rams at home against the Seahawks. It's a divisional game. I don't know why he gave me a 2. It's a divisional game.
Because I have 2 MVPs. I have 2.
Against Russell Wilson, I'll be specific. Because I really want to see Aaron Donald rip Russell Wilson in half and show you that, yes, defense is not sexy, but defense wins games and defense wins championships. And the term MVP is not MSP, most sexy player. It's most valuable player. And Aaron Donald will definitely show his value against the Seahawks. I like it because, A, I like to watch the Rams play in SoFi Stadium because it's just a glorious new building. And B, I think it'll be interesting to see what the Rams defense does against Seattle, to see if they can really hold them at bay. I don't know if they will, but if anyone's going to do it, it's going to start with Aaron Donald.
I will say that if it was the most sexiest player award, it would go to Jimmy Garoppolo.
I'm with that.
You dispute that? And who's sexier than Jimmy Garoppolo, Mitchell?
To be honest, I don't really look at NFL players and think sexy. Maybe the
you can't help it with Jimmy. You just look at him and it's a waterfall of sex.
How do you spell his last name? Jimmy
Garoppolo.
Hey, what about Travis Kelce? You sleeping on my boy Travis?
No, that's true. Yeah, he's awesome.
Oh my God, he's gorgeous.
Exactly.
Have you seen that jawline, Mitchell?
Yeah, I don't know what Mitchell's thinking. But to get to top it back on, I'm going to take a look at let's look at Bills Cardinals, and I think that's going to be that's going to be an offensive game. You have 2 young quarterbacks in Kyler Murray. Is it Kyle Murray? God, I just messed up. I don't even know. Is it Kyler Murray? Kyle Murray?
It's Kyler, like
Kyler.
Yeah.
I always see. I'm going to mess up Kyler Murray's name for the rest of them. Call him Kyle, but it's still going to be a fun game. You have young quarterbacks. You have excellent weapons for each of the quarterbacks. It's going to be a high-scoring game, but I'm still going to ride with the Bills because I just think they're a better overall team. And I don't know the name of the Arizona quarterback, apparently.
I'm kind of curious. I want to follow up with you, Mitchell. Just one thing. When Aaron Donald rips someone in half, does he go shoulder, head, and rip from the top? Does he grab both legs and rip from the bottom? Or does he, like, full-on Mortal Kombat, hand through the chest and just rip outwards?
I would have to say probably the Mortal Kombat of ripping in half, just swimming through that offensive line, grabbing the QB, and just kind of oops, I hit my mic. But that's how hard he's going to rip somebody in half.
Well, good news is our audio viewers will now be able to understand your metaphor. All right, Danny, we've got Mitchell down, Kennedy down. take us home.
I'm going to go Thursday night football game to watch, Colts-Titans. Sounds a little bit boring, but both teams are looking to bounce back. Colts just lost to the Ravens, and then the Titans, they didn't look too good against the Bears. So we'll see what they're all about. I like Colts. I like their defense more than I like the Titans. I'll take them 17-14.
Danny, I will say you're not worried about the curse of Phillip Rivers being down 6 points and having to go 80 yards with only 2.5 minutes left.
I'm trusting their defense. I'm trusting they have that rookie running back, Jonathan Taylor. If they can feed it to him, I like them to control the flow of the game. Low-scoring game, I got them by a field goal.
I like Jonathan Taylor to run the ball, but having seen what's happened with the Chargers, I know this isn't the Chargers game, but Phillip Rivers played for the Chargers for many, many years. Do you think it's possible that some of their unluckiness has rubbed off on Rivers and the Colts are going to find a way to hysterically blow the game at the end just because Phillip Rivers was once a Charger?
Well, you're also not just seeing that with Phillip Rivers, his collapse. You're also seeing it again this season with the Chargers. So obviously it's not just Phillip Rivers. It's also management and the coaching staff that have the inability to hold on to a lead.
Oh, yeah. I feel bad for Anthony Lynn. I feel like he's gone after this season for sure. But yeah, no, I feel like Phillip Rivers blew the game against Baltimore for sure. I feel like they had that in the beginning, and then he just couldn't move the ball. But I like him to bounce back. And, I mean, I'm not even, like, rooting for him. I'll just take him. And I'll take the Rams, and I'll take the Cardinals this weekend too.
All right. Interesting takes from all three of you. All right. Listeners, viewers, thank you very much. We're going to take a quick break here from our first half, and we'll be back in just a second for the second half of our presentation with our three lovely presenters. All right, and welcome back to the Moorpark Reporter Sportcast here for our second half. Our second half is all NBA. We got the 2020-2021 season coming up. We got a start date of December 22nd and a bunch of stuff on the slate. I just want to hear your thoughts. Give me some chat. Let's hear it. I want you to lead it off, Danny.
I mean, yeah, let's start with the December 22nd start date. Kennedy, Mitchell, do you guys think that they came to the right decision? I mean, personally, I think it's a little too soon. I would have liked to see maybe that January start date, 60 games instead, because the Lakers just won the championship a few weeks ago. And how are they supposed to mentally be prepared for this start already? What do you guys think about that?
Well, one thing you got to keep in mind is that Christmas Day for the NBA is similar to Thanksgiving for the NFL. And with the return for December 22nd, they estimate the NBA will make an extra $500 million in revenue. So obviously that's a huge decision for the NBA. If you're the owners, if you're Adam Silver, you definitely wanted this December 22nd start date. But obviously if you're getting this start date, the players are going to have to get something in return. So they're going to be getting more shares of that revenue. So a little bit of give and take. But yeah, I mean, if you're the Lakers or if you're the Heat, that's a quick turnaround time. So it'll be interesting to see.
I won't be surprised to see LeBron sit out the first few.
I'm with you. The first month, I don't think we see LeBron.
I don't know. I disagree on the first month of not seeing him. The big thing for me is, look, 2020 has been just an interesting year, to put it nicely. If 2020 included a world where there was no NBA on Christmas Day, it would be even more disappointing to a lot of people. More than that, if the NBA on Christmas does not include LeBron James, that's even more disappointing. I understand that it is a short turnaround. I think it's the shortest ever of the four major sports in between the end of one season and the start of another. But look, the fans need to see their players out there. And of course, when you can make an extra $500 million, why would you not play on Christmas Day? I don't think that they should have started in January, but I think that they should have, spread the season out a lot more. Like, give these players more time to rest in between each game. And I kind of liked having the NBA on in the summertime. It gave me something more to watch.
thing you're going to see a lot this coming season, load management. You're going to see that thrown around a lot. And people who hate seeing players go on load management, especially during normal seasons, they're going to be furious.
I'm kind of curious. I want to follow up that question you guys were talking about LeBron James not appearing for the first month. Do you think he's the type of player who wants to please fans, like play those first few games, play those Christmas games, or do you think it might be more of a strategy thing to sit out those games and just go for that championship, or do you think he might play those first few games to try and set a pace for the season, and then he can go on load management?
Well, like with LeBron, he always calculates his next move. So I could see a couple scenarios. One, he doesn't play the first month at all. Two, he plays the first couple games, including the big Christmas game, because he is kind of the NBA's biggest star. He brings in the most money. If there's no Lakers Christmas game, we don't see him for the month. You could see him start for the beginning of the month, do the Christmas game, take off, a couple more weeks for, load management. And he's still going to make a title run regardless what he does.
I think it all hinges on, does Anthony Davis re-up with the Lakers? He's a free agent, but it's expected for him to return to the Lakers. If there's no Lakers Christmas Day game, don't expect LeBron for a while. But look, sit out game 43 against Phoenix. We don't care, but you can't sit out on Christmas Day. It's fan service. I feel like it's his obligation to the game because he is the game's biggest and greatest star. So to not have that on Christmas would definitely be disappointing for the fans.
Yeah, when you think of load management, I mean, most people are going to think of Kawhi Leonard, but for the past 4 seasons, I feel like it's actually been LeBron who started in load managing. I remember a few years ago with the Cavs, he was under some tight criticism because fans were complaining they came out to see LeBron and he was resting. So I won't be surprised if he's going to sit out the first few games. I think he's expecting to do it, and I feel like fans should expect it too. But like you said, there's no way he's going to sit out a Christmas game. There's just no way.
Another thing to realize about load management, no matter what sport you're playing, it could be hockey, soccer, baseball, basketball, football. It's really, really hard to win every single game, to play every single game. So you're going to see more, as stars get more and more power in the NBA, you're going to see more load management because you had the Warriors go, 73-9, and they lost the championship. So getting the best record ever doesn't prove anything. So
yeah, I feel it. Go ahead, Mitchell.
Sorry, yeah. If we look, it's going to be a shortened season to 72 games, and I think this has been talked about at least more recently. Look, we can get rid of load management if we just reduce the amount of regular season games. We're already seeing that the regular season, it means something, but not as much as the playoffs. And the playoffs are long. They're all 7-game series. I think what the NBA is going to see is a 72-game season might end up working better for the players. So then they are better rested and they don't have to take as many games off and disappoint the fans. And then they can still be at peak performance come playoffs.
Yeah, I feel like this 6 months off that LeBron got, I feel like that was pretty much the main reason he was able to play so well throughout the playoffs, because he actually got a break for once halfway through the season. So, yeah, this shortened season I feel like is going to help him and the players. You guys want to get into free agency?
Yeah, I mean, like we mentioned Anthony Davis, he's probably going back to the Lakers, but there's some other names out there that that are great players that could definitely help out a lot of teams. I'm thinking Fred VanVleet is going to be the steal of the offseason. He definitely earned his bag the last 2 seasons in Toronto. Do you think the Raptors can make a run at re-signing him, or do you think he's going to walk where the money is?
He's definitely going where the money is. He already got his championship. If you're a player like Fred VanVleet, what more could you want? You get 1 championship, now go get your money. And unfortunately, the place I think he's going to go is the New York Knicks. So he's just going to ruin his career. But hey, he'll get paid. So who cares, right?
Yeah, I saw that report too. I saw like he was drawing interest from the Knicks and the Pistons. So he's screwed. It looks like wherever he's going if he's getting that money. But hey, good for him. He deserves the bag.
Yeah, if you're going to go to Detroit, you better get paid a lot of money. And yeah, you get to live in New York, but you're playing for the Knicks. So you better be getting a lot of money. You got your ring, and you're I mean, let's be honest. Once Fred is gone, are we really going to remember him and his time in the NBA? No. So go get your money and just, play basketball until you're 35.
I feel like this is going to be a big hit for the Raptors, actually, if they don't re-sign him. I mean, we saw Siakam get exposed in the playoffs last season. He's not a true scorer. I feel like he's like their main scorer, their most reliable scorer.
I think Toronto makes a run at him. I think Fred VanVleet, as definitely an undersized NBA player, knows the importance of grind and grit and knows that Toronto is a well-managed organization. They might not be able to pay him as much, and definitely when you're thinking about the Canadian dollar and Canadian taxes, that's something to consider because they're a little bit higher than they are here. For me, if I'm getting offers from Detroit and the Knicks, I would be content taking less money to play in Toronto with a well-run organization, with maybe Kyle Lowry's last run as an NBA player because he's getting up there. You still have Siakam, who is great. The Raptors could make some noise in the East. They could definitely go deep into the playoffs, and he's an integral part of that Raptors organization. If he doesn't go there, could one of the LA teams possibly bring him in? Maybe the LA Clippers. Maybe they have enough money with Steve Ballmer to bring in a true point guard to really help facilitate that offense.
I feel like the Clippers contract is iffy. I'm never good. Like I used to play a lot of 2K and I would do like the trades and I never got the contracts working out. So gosh, just money in the NBA is such a weird thing. But another guy I want to look at is Brandon Ingram. And now he's a restricted free agent for the New Orleans Pelicans. Pelicans got brand new head coach with Stan Van Gundy, who really knows how to take young talent and make them better than they've ever been. And now that he has Zion to build around, and I believe Stan Van Gundy said he wants to build the team around Zion. Side note, not free agency, I see them trading Drew Holiday. But I think they keep Brandon Ingram. He's improved a lot since leaving LA. He's gotten just significantly better. And when you have a coach who knows how to work and develop young talent, it would be crazy not to give him a deal.
I like Ingram to stay in New Orleans. He was the most improved player, and definitely having some space out of the spotlight in LA did him well. Stan Van Gundy's a great NBA coach. He's well respected within the league. You have Zion. You have an improving Lonzo Ball, and he's, not the best point guard, but he's improving. He's a good passer. And the Pelicans have a lottery pick that they could definitely do something with. I like your pick, Kennedy, for him to stay put.
I like it too. I'm with you guys. I mean, they're going to need scorers in New Orleans. I think he was an all-star last season, so he's going to get his shots. They need shooters, and he can shoot the three, so I like it. I like it too.
All right. I kind of want you guys to build on what you were saying. We heard Kennedy mention Fred VanVleet. You guys were all talking about LeBron earlier. And Mitchell, you were talking about Lonzo Ball. And I also heard Zion Williamson thrown in there. That's kind of some old guard, new guard. And now, before the season has even started, I don't know, MVPs, finals, who's going to win it? Like, seriously, tell me. I want to go to Vegas. I need to pay for grad school.
2020, 2021, the return of the Splash Bros up in the Bay. Steph Curry has had plenty of time this offseason to work on himself. If you've seen any of his Instagram posts lately, dude is shredded. He looks like he's ready to come back and take the NBA by storm. People forget the Warriors might be the best team of the last decade. They're one of the best run organizations, and he also has Klay Thompson. The Warriors also, I believe, have the number 2 pick in the draft, so they can go out and get someone to help facilitate that offense. Steph Curry, MVP, Warriors back on top, winning the finals. It's been said.
Since we're in the habit of saying crazy things, here's something you can just mark it down, write it on a piece of paper, put it in a book and book it. MVP is going to be Giannis Antetokounmpo, and not with the Milwaukee Bucks, but with the Miami Heat. And they're going to be winning the finals. He's going to be lifting the Larry O'Brien trophy. Book it. Book it, because the Milwaukee Bucks halfway through the season are going to see, oh my gosh, Giannis is going to leave. We got to get him out for something because he's going to give us nothing. They trade him to Miami for some picks. I see Tyler Hero going to Milwaukee as well. A couple other players to make the contracts work. Book it. Giannis MVP in a Heat jersey.
I do think it's crazy. I think Milwaukee goes out and gets a real point guard. Like, everything starts at the top. Maybe Fred VanVleet takes less money to go play with Giannis. I mean, what a combination Giannis, Middleton, and VanVleet could be for the Bucks. I just don't think that Milwaukee trades him. And more than that, I don't think Miami trades Tyler Hero even to make the money work. He's a budding star in the NBA, and I think you guys have to hold on to him and just pay the man when he gets to free agency.
I mean, yes and maybe, but if I have the opportunity to get the MVP and the soon-to-be world's greatest player, because once LeBron's out, it's going to be Giannis. He's going to be the best player in the league. And you have an organization like the Miami Heat that have such a great culture of building players to their best potential. It's the best run organization in the MVP, and that's just not me saying that as a Miami fan. That's the whole league saying that Miami has a culture of building winning teams. And you add Giannis, Bam, and then you have, I think, Dragic, another NBA free agent. He's going to re-sign with the Heat. And Butler. That's a crazy team. So
Kennedy, you wildin' if you think they're going to trade.
It's going to happen. Mark my word. That's going to happen.
Put to the team that just beat them in the playoffs.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Because Giannis is going to be like, look, I'm not re-signing. So as a team, you have to go, do we let him go and get absolutely nothing for him? Or do we just, bite the bullet and try to get some draft picks and maybe some young building blocks like Tyler Hero, who's showing some promise? And,
You just saw the Pelicans do that with Anthony Davis, actually. They traded him for the future. But I think this is different because the Pelicans, they weren't even a playoff team. And the Bucks, they're the first team in the East. Or they have the best record in the NBA. And we just mentioned Drew, what's his name?
Drew Holiday.
Yeah, I feel like he could he could end up there. Him, maybe, Fred VanVleet. What's another point guard? Chris Paul, maybe?
I like Paul to Milwaukee in a trade. I think that makes the most sense, the best possible option for them.
Yeah, they know they need to make a difference. I mean, Drew Bledsoe, that was just a move that just is not working out. So I feel like they know they need to make something happen. And I just don't see them trading him.
All I'm going to say is if the Bucks aren't in first place by a good amount, you're going to see Giannis say, trade me, or I'm not re-signing.
I agree that there's a lot of pressure on the Bucks to make a move because if they don't win it this year, I feel like he's gone for sure in the offseason.
Danny, MVP pick, finals pick?
Oh, I got to go with my Lakers. Come on now. Lakers back-to-back. We going back-to-back.
You think LeBron gets the MVP, gets back to MVP caliber? Because I believe he could.
I feel like he should have won this past year, so I feel like he's going to win it this year.
I think you guys are too quick to forget that Steph Curry revolutionized this game for the better. The game doesn't look like what it does today without Steph and that three-point shot. He's had so much time to prepare. His team didn't make the playoffs. He hasn't played in a long time. He's going to be fresh. Clay's going to be fresh. That whole team is going to be fresh. And they're going to be gunning for the Lakers. You know that they think that they are the best team in the NBA, and rightfully so, because if Clay doesn't get hurt in the finals and Steph doesn't hurt himself in the regular season, the Warriors could have made the playoffs and made some noise even without Kevin Durant.
One last bold prediction before we wrap up, Dom. Linsanity coming back. Guarantee it. Book it again. Another book. But after the trade to Miami.
All right. So it sounds like I got four good bets. I've got Giannis Antetokounmpo. I got
Close
Justin Lin, I've got Steph Curry, and I've got LeBron James.
Yeah.
One of these
Yeah,
things
there's
is not
things
like the other, but you know what? Let's just wrap it up there.
You're right, LeBron.
All right. And so this has been our 5th episode of the Moorpark Reporter Sportcast. Danny, our fearless leader, thank you very much. Mitchell Ross, staff writer, thank you very much. Kennedy Collier, thank you very much. Now let's wrap it up. Tell us where they can find you. Danny.
You can find me on Twitter at DStepanovich.
With 2 H's at the end, right?
Yeah, 2 H's because someone took D Stepanovich, so I had to throw in another H. Can you believe that?
Some people just have no respect. All right, Mitchell, where can they find you?
Everywhere social media can be consumed at Mitch Ross Report. Get your content there.
You still on Vine?
RIP Vine, and I'm not on the TikTok.
All right, Kennedy, where can they find you, even if you don't want them to be there?
They can find me in a state of wondering why I went to a dinky little seafood restaurant and the cutest little girl said, "Hey, do you want to try a vegan hamburger?" And I stupidly said yes. So I got a vegan hamburger at a seafood restaurant after wanting shrimp. So never listen to the cute girl behind the cashier because the food she'll give you is terrible. There's no such thing as good fake bacon, by the way. It doesn't taste like the real thing. You lied to me. It wasn't good at all.
All right.
I've had a good vegan burger before. Was that just not it?
That was not it. It was just, she wanted me to have faux sushi at first. I'm like, no, I'm not doing faux sushi.
Faux like FAUX or like PHO, like the Vietnamese soup?
The fake one with the X. Yeah.
All right.
Ruined my evening.
Thank you very much for watching. Later.